So-Called is sponsored by loveboiseparks.org, which donates profits to support, promote, and preserve open spaces in Boise, Idaho. Use promo code SOCALLED for 10% off all your purchases at loveboiseparks.org.
It's important to feel good about what I wake up to do every day. And having that integrity of purpose and knowing that I show up not just for myself, but for others.
This is Mark Wojcik, and I'm wondering, how's your so-called career? Welcome to So-Called, the podcast that explores the why and how of work. On today's episode, we meet Sarah Cunningham, Principal and CEO of Ethos Design, Remodel and Ethos Real Estate. When we met, I asked Sarah to tell me about Ethos.
So we are a design build firm. We do primarily a lot of custom remodels. We also do new construction, and we are developing a modular home component of our company. And certainly in real estate, we're primarily residential real estate. I'm the lead realtor on the team, licensed at Silver Creek Realty Group. But so we really are all about helping people find and create kind of that dream space that really resonates with them. What we do is really, we listen really attentively to what it is that people want to live in, and then create this home in our design and in our remodels in response to who they are and how they live. Because we come from such a space of like building community and connectedness, and you don't build community connectedness with large crowds. You do it one person, one home, one space, one heart at a time, right? And it just grows from there. And yeah, on the surface, we're designing and building and, doing remodeling, but it's so much deeper than that, because the ideology and the philosophy behind it is like conscientiousness towards the planet and towards our community and connectedness in our neighborhoods and because we just build a better, healthier society when we have homes that are healthier and where people can rest and be revitalized and then go back out into the world and take a better self out into the world, because the homes function better. And when we build better homes, then it's not only just better for the people who live in it now, it's better for future generations. And so we go at it with a mindfulness towards longevity and sustainability and not disposable design or disposable building.
What do you enjoy, or what do you enjoy most about what you do?
I certainly enjoy the creative aspect of it. So I come from a background of, I've studied a lot of design through various disciplines. I enjoy connecting with my clients and getting inspired by what inspires them, because I want something that means something to the people who will live there, right? Yeah. Rather than just projecting any sort of random aesthetic that might be inspiring for me personally. I get inspired by the people who live and work in the spaces that we work on. And so that creative process I really enjoy, and building that rapport with our clients, because again, it goes back to that whole community connectedness. And I feel like, I get to have these really deep, meaningful relationships and let it unfold through design and art and creativity. And so I tend to think outside the box. I mean, that's a little bit cliche, but it's really true. So I, some of the, when I work with clients, and the more the people that see sort of things that I do that aren't your standard design pieces, people tend to come to me because they want someone who is going to approach it from a completely different angle. But that being said, I also have been doing this long enough that, if what someone wants is, I guess more of a standard aesthetic, more traditional aesthetic, or whatever, fill in the blank, whether it's craftsman or whatever, I'm capable of doing that because I've studied all of those aesthetics. So, I guess I really enjoy the creative aspect of it and the person-to-person kind of communication, building community and rapport with people.
Nobody likes a recession, but for Sarah, it was just the thing she needed to launch her business.
It's kind of funny because I actually started my company the day after I was laid off during the recession. Mm-hmm. And I was beyond elated because it was exactly what I needed, was the kind of kick in the butt from the universe, if you will, to get me in that direction. And certainly there were a number of struggles and just kind of getting my name out. And I started my company as Desiderata Interiors after the poem Desiderata. Mm-hmm. And it turns out nobody could spell it or pronounce it. So it made it really hard. Really hard for people to find me. So in 2014 is when I rebranded as Ethos Design Remodel, because I felt like it captured kind of like the ethos, of my philosophy, my ideology, and it gives an opportunity for us to talk about what we're about and our why.
Naming the business wasn't the only difficulty Sarah encountered with her startup, and the challenges motivated her to keep going.
Certainly highs and lows. Many days where I wasn't sure where the next project was coming from or how I was going to make it through. Times when I thought, I really should get a job, and something about the idea of getting a job would light a serious fire under my backside. I just can't imagine working for someone else ever again. Yeah. And that's kind of what it takes sometimes when I'm not quite sure where things are going. I think about that, and it lights a fire in me.
Once the firm started growing, the challenges weren't over. Sarah's team had to grow, which required her to take on a new role, yet another hurdle to overcome.
I was terrified to hire anyone because I had no idea how to be a real boss. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I could run my own stuff, and I could run projects, and I could, all this stuff, but how to be an employer was terrifying to me. And now we've got a team of 5 people, and we're going to be hiring a couple more. We have an incredible team of people right now. It's kind of a dream, and sometimes I have to pinch myself because it's amazing the quality of humans that are working with me now. It's awesome. So, and I guess highlights would be, we've won several awards through the local chapter of NARI, National Association of the Remodeling Industry. I've been a member. I was a member at Carpet One, and I represented our store there. And that's where I learned to work with a lot of really incredibly professional and ethical and high standard remodelers. And that's what really informed my set and my skills and my information in our industry. And to continue being a member of that industry and elevating my own professional standards, and then to receive the awards that we've received is humbling and amazing. And then being honored as one of the Women of the Year this year was, it's amazing, to like things you never think are going to happen or you don't realize could happen. And when it happens, it's just, I don't know, I'm kind of on cloud 9 and just kind of astonished and just tickled, I guess,
Do you have any thoughts about, like, are there big things that you want to do next? What you want, like, what's ahead that you're looking out for, like, in the future?
Yeah. Development. So I've always been an aspiring developer, and working on that on some projects right now. So we're in pre-development. So going back to building community and being mindful about how we build and our built environment. So for me, I'm going to back up just a tad because I want to talk about, like, the spiritual aspect of who I am and why I am and what it, like, how it all comes together for me. Because I struggled for a long time. Like, I'm a very spiritual person, and I wanted something to be, like, profoundly meaningful. I wanted to pursue a career and I wanted a pursuit that resonated with my spiritual self, right? And yet design is what I kept being called to do. And and I couldn't understand and design, and then volunteering in community. And I volunteered a lot in community and design, and I couldn't quite figure out. And I felt like I straddled this line between my spiritual aspect and my desire to excel in my profession. And so I finally figured out why and how they kind of come together, and that this pursuit is a spiritual endeavor for me, because it is that connectivity and it's a mindfulness towards responsibility for our planet and for humanity. And it comes through in how we design and also in development, right? So, and as a developer, you have the ability to create mindful built environments that are healthy and beneficial towards humanity, right? Rather than just continue to plow and like eat up all of our bare space, creating neighborhoods and community spaces and active spaces that are healthy for people to use, that can continue being used into the future without building disposable spaces. So, developer. Back to what you were asking, and and then modular homes. So homes that a smaller footprint that can be produced with a lighter imprint, a lighter footprint, if you will. So, yeah, those are some of the things that we're working on.
For Sarah, the key to success in business has been bringing together a purpose-driven life with her professional career.
And there's a lot of people that speak to it in a lot of different ways, like what's your why, or what's your purpose, or what drives you, right? And my spirituality drives me, and trying to find that sort of oneness, right? That like you can have this purpose-driven life and this profession and that sort of thing, but finding where the two come together creates this sort of magic zone, if you will. It's not just about chasing the dollar or the paycheck or whatever.
Finding that magic zone is more than following your passion. For Sarah, it has been a journey to discover what drives her and integrate that into her work.
And it's hard when you're younger, because you have a lot of, like, I'm a creative and an artist, and so there's a lot of things that I'm passionate about, a lot of things that I'm creative about, a lot of things that, that I could pursue, Yeah. So, as an environmentalist or passionate about sustainability, I could go into stewardship. I could go into, there's a million different things I could chase, but I really had to kind of hone in and find what it is, where my wellspring came from, and, so that I could flourish, right? It's important to feel good about what I wake up to do every day, and having that integrity of purpose, and knowing that I show up not just for myself, but for others in a way that I can feel good about the person I go to bed with at night, being me,
Yes.
And that's important. It's really important. Integrity is so incredibly important to me, and being real and being authentic. And so that is, I guess, woven into, the business and how we show up and what we deliver and what we bring. And it's now just sort of ingrained in the culture of the company, which was one of my biggest dreams, right? Is to create this culture in the company of people who really are driven by that, and they are. And it's amazing.
What advice would you give your younger self?
Honestly, I would say trust your intuition. Intuition is a big deal, and often we just, if we listen to our inner voice, it's there coaching us and guiding us along. But when we tune out of that and try to listen to outside voices, we often lose sight of what's really driving us.
So-Called is sponsored by loveboiseparks.org, which donates profits to support, promote, and preserve open spaces in Boise, Idaho. Use promo code SOCALLED for 10% off all your purchases at loveboiseparks.org. Our theme and transition music was composed by Roberto Cavaco. All other stylings are the sound of my voice. If you enjoyed today's episode, please let us know. Subscribe and leave us a review. So Called is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and wherever you get your podcasts.